And it is Dove on the Tryndamere. I don't think this should be too much of a surprise. Will pick up the 100 points for that first POG. Look at that. There we go. We have KRNs/Ian.
Thresh is the way you want to go, but the Akali is going to actually raise up and make it through this time here for Closer. And by the way, Closer loves playing the aggressive mid picks. The Akali, the Irelia, if you guys remember one from his time.
Next is
Graves.
I was gonna say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it was kind of broke.
But also like he can fix it. and like he really needs to fix it actually in this next game. And I will warn Live Sandbox fans out there, this worked well last time, but a lot of the success was really a failing of DRX and a failing of Kingan's positioning and his overextensions.
Yep, not going to be able to get there, but they do now know that this could be a bit of a problem. Does go into the Shroud, is now Closer, should be all right. Zeka actually flashes over the Audacious Charge. That was so sick. Wind becomes Lightning also now on cooldown, and Zeka's just going to smoothly move his way out. The slow from Pioshik with the standard is going to be there, and that's the flash forward. So Croco eventually picks up the kill in the end.
I mean, it's still an incredible play, though, from Zeka. The fact that he's able to force the flash there, because otherwise that's 100% a kill. And this ended up backfiring massively.
Yeah, it certainly is. Stun comes down onto Deft, takes himself a lantern to try and get into a better position, as now Envy taking a bit of damage as well. Deft gets the grab at him off, and that's the hook from max range. In goes Beryl and picks up the first kill for the bottom lane. Deft now trying to get out of there, and he absolutely will, as Gravitum remains onto Kale. He's going to have to flash to get himself out, but is it going to be enough is the question. Infernum not quite enough range. As the flash forward from Deft, he wants more. The flash hook, but Kale just hugs the wall beautifully.
Oh, we are seeing, how many mechanics can we see in the first 4 minutes of as we're finally going to watch this. Now, he actually switches to Gravitum. Watch this. He has Calibrum up, so he can actually get the long range after the Ignite goes down. And then he's able to switch. Look at that. Boom. Long range Calibrum into the Gravitum for the root. And then the follow-up hook is perfect. They grab the kill there. Deft and Beryl, hey, day one, already a duo that's clearly got practice coordination. Love to see that Calibrum switch there. You can't expect it as the opponent unless you're really counting bullets. Kale's still dodging is impressive too, but Deft, that was
Let's pick up that cannon.
Hey,
okay, Xenoblade going to come on through, is now Kale trying to block him. Deft does take it in the end. And Deft has the Crescendum available, so even though Live Sandbox do rotate earlier, it's not early enough. As the playback onto Croco, he flashes forward, gets the knock up onto Deft, who is still alive for the moment, takes himself a lantern, is now Closer, dives on forward, executes the Aphelios, but meanwhile on the other side of the fight, the Xin Zhao has already fallen down. Dove, can he actually do it, King? And oh, the flash out of the way, Dove! The top lane Tryndamere God is making this one work, as now Zeka, nothing he can do one
team when you have this Tryndamere because he's unkillable. So yes, you do get the secure here on the Herald, but look at the dive here. 1v3 Croco's here by himself because he knows the follow-up is there. And look at how long it takes for them to rotate in, and yet still, the burst damage from the Akali executes the Aphelios, and now this is a war of attrition you simply cannot win as DRX. You're stuck here as Ryze, you're like, I can't get over this wall, I can't really help this fight, and Kingan has to back off too because actually can be a real force, as we're going to see the commitment here.
Yep, Solar Flare comes down, Chaos going to get the stun, True Shot Barrage comes through, the flash out of the way from Beryl is now Deft, going to join no Chemtech route, which feels great. As Charge comes forward, Croco's going to get flayed into the team, as now Pioshik's in a whole bunch of trouble. The Cataclysm takes the Lantern to try and get out, flashes now to get away from Closer, who is so dangerous at this stage, but DRX not going to lose anyone, but they do lose position.
Really good, NBA kill, good in Challengers. I'm going to watch this replay again. But the way they execute these fights is one of the hardest things to train, right? Like when you have a roster like this, those are beautiful crescent guard. When you have a roster like this,
Calibrum comes down, now we've got the close range guns, flash out immediately from Envy, the heal has been used as well, Solar Flare comes through, but that is the playback. Kale now trying to create a nuisance for himself, great hook is going to come forward as Croco flashes up to Deft, and he was trying to go way too deep for that one and gets punished.
Yeah, in the last game, as we watch this moment once again, notice the ping on Akali instantly throughout this moment. You know, they know that she's not in mid, they know she's not here.
Yeah.
And they're still pushing for this. And, you know, they end up playing this out longer. They're like, okay, well, Akali's going to have to deal with the wave now. So you see she goes back up. That's when they all in. But it's at this moment where you should back off. You know Croco's here. The box is decent, but watch Kale's stopwatch timing. It's perfect. The Crescent Guard split stepped off, and you've stayed just a little bit too late. And Akali shows up at the last possible second.
As well.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't waste, but he doesn't know the teleport's getting committed. He's going to use the Ghost.
Yeah, he's doing his best to dance around the dead turret. Now wants to try and stop this one from happening.
Then
Lateral damage going to come through, and yeah, he does manage to get 2 people down towards that bottom side. No teleport available from Dove, and we do have the Crescendum up for depth, but can they actually outsmite Croco is going to be the question. 4 versus 3 for now, but the 2 solo laners are still making their way in. Solar Flare to buy a little bit of time. Everfrost not going to exactly find it here, as Pyosik needs to be able to grab this smite. Croco gets into the pit. It's going to be a 50-50. They want to try and kill him, but no! Croco's going to steal it away. Deft is going to get obliterated as well, and Liv Sandbox.
What was happening? The response is instant. Look at the vision that they have there on the top side of the blue jungle. That 1 solo ward there and the brush wards there in mid mean that they can respond so quickly. While this is happening, look at the rest of Liv Sandbox. They're already coming over to Baron. The Solar Flare bought a ton of time, and yes, you do get that pick there. Solar Flare buys time here, and look at what happens to Zeka. Once again, he gets center-bladed here. Over the scuttle, right on top of Zeka, and that means there's no rise damage here, so you can't win the fight. Right, nice rotation from Croco, secures that smite, as you mentioned, but even if you win the smite war here, you don't walk out alive as DRX.
바로 먹었어, 얘들아, 바로 먹었어!
He's, I got the Baron, I got the Baron.
미드.
And he's
Range now, so I guess that's what he's looking to try and execute on as Solar Flare comes down once again, locking up the members of DRX, but immediately Closer just gets exploded. Kale now in trouble as well as DRX trying to hold themselves in. Kale goes back, knows that he's dead.
You really do have to respect when you're going this deep that they can turn on you on a dime. You also have to remember that a teleportless Tryndamere is pushing a side lane, so this is not going to be a fair fight in terms of numbers here. They're in a choke point, and that's where Ryze is really going to shine.
Yeah.
This is a game where, you know, again, this is one...
Trying to push forward to grab themselves some control. Zeka's going to teleport in. Great double knock up there, and the Moonlight Vigil comes down. Envy has to immediately get out of there as the Chakrams are a big problem. The CC's good onto Dove as now. He has to try and get himself out, but now Closer is trying to get the work done. Deft flashes over and at least executes the Tryndamere, but he will go down. Zeka finally actually able to do damage, and King is still a problem, but 3 versus 4, sorry, Barrel.
Playing with fire here. Okay, hold that thought.
Going for a little bit of a flank play, and yeah, KL is in trouble. The Realm Warp going to come on forward as Zeka in perfect position to get himself over the wall. Good hook to set it up. And that is a dead support. Croco dead for another 12 seconds, and they may have thrown a Baron. My God, if we get another throw, yeah, it's not necessarily working out right now as Kingen started this one off already, and he can tank it for days, of course, as the Graves. Closer on the side, but he's spotted immediately. Out goes Pyosik as Dove's going to get flayed back. Has to go into the ultimate as early as possible, and now wants to take down Deft. It's going to wear off as Deft is going to try and grab him, but no! Dove goes into his stopwatch. Zeka has one as well, but now he's getting surrounded. It's a double kill for the top laner of Liv Sandbox, and maybe this game is just over.
Oh, it is definitely over, Atlas. They're going to push to win it. Dove again with the flank. Such an incredible play, but also Croco's right in where he needs to be. Hits the Crescent Guard, and it all sets up. And unfortunately for DRX, both of these games, each and every team fight, they struggle to keep their carries alive when it matters most. And this, shockingly, actually will be a 2-0 for Liv Sandbox.
Yeah, Liv Sandbox, they turned it all around. It looked like DRX had all the control, but now the Nexus is going to get obliterated, and Liv Sandbox start off 2022 with a 2-0 over DRX.
It's another game where the Ezreal 2 is going to be in a position where he does very little damage throughout the majority of the game, only shining in these last final scenes.
It's like he's invisible. Envy was just like arcane shifting forward, not really paying too much mind as to what was going on, but damn, Closer having a good one. Let's have a listen to Liv Sandbox as they close this one out.
얘들아, 달콤한 첫 승이다. 아주 좋다.
집중해 아직 안 끝났다. 형 피해 먹어요 형.
나 오면은 그냥 박을 거야 그분한테. 너 알아둬.
He's basically like, Kayla's basically kind of memeing like, as soon as I get there, you know it's over, right? You know it's done, right? Because he was the one who was late to the party, of course, at the late respawn.
That's really cool because their rookie's very vocal here, as you can see. Of course, Envy and Kale, brand new to this squad, and brand new to the LCK.
It's like, you guys all know it. We won as soon as I got there. Look at the damage here again. The damage overall for Liv Sandbox, very low, but they executed the targets when they needed to.
For DRX fans, because I think a lot of people were expecting Pyosik to be this shining light finally unleashed.